Well, it's afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Broadcasting to Your Community, and wherever you are, I hope you're having a good weekend. If you're in Canada, it's the long weekend, Victoria Day holiday. It's a holiday today, but we're still
nice.
there. Yeah. And today, my friend Bridgetti Lim Banda joining me. Thanks for filling in here today, Bridgetti.
It's an absolute pleasure. That's what we do for each other.
Yeah, that's right. Well, and the last time we were all on together with our friend Stephen Healy, we sort of said that, geez, Bridgetti and I don't get to hang out often enough. So it's nice that the laws of the universe are speaking out loud.
Absolutely. Gotta love it.
What time is it? You're in South Africa. What time is it where you're at?
Right now it's 6 p.m.
6 p.m. Okay, so you've already had dinner?
I've just had my dinner, yes.
We don't want to keep you from you gotta fill the tummy.
No, just did that. I couldn't last. It was one of those days where sometimes you wing it, and you have a cup of tea ready or something to drink.
Yes.
But there are days when you just realize I can't get through this without having something to eat first.
That's why it's always good to have an apple around somewhere. Yes, that's what I'm told. There's a lot of fun things going on in this Be Livers world, right? Like when Steven's here, we don't really have an agenda. We just kind of go every different direction, but we're getting closer and closer to that 10,000 mark in the Be Livers group.
Yeah. And I think that is brilliant. The group is growing in leaps and bounds. And, the one thing that's really great is I love the absolute interaction in the group.
Yeah. I was going to say, aside from the product itself, it's really the community that's built it all, right? I mean, because I know probably you do too. I get approached all the time from different people wanting me to use their product or their service, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm just happy right where I'm at here because I'm part of the family.
That's what it is about. It's just about everything. When you ask people about a product, people will often stay or not jump ship to a better product because they like the community.
Yeah.
And so, that goes for anything in business, whatever, regardless of the product. People will follow the people. And so if you get a really good salesperson, for example, it doesn't matter what they sell. Really doesn't matter. They'll go with it simply because they like the person. So the people factor is huge.
Yeah, well, and that's I think anybody who's smart these days, if you are putting out a product or a service or whatever, I mean, I know we say it a lot. We repeat ourselves: know, like, and trust, and relationships, and impact. But yeah, those two things, actually, the relationships and the impact, are the two biggest words, I think, for me anyway, that come up all the time. Now, when we talk like a product or a service, we might be talking like we're selling a book or we're selling microphones or a fan or a TV, or if you have a tangible product. But live streaming is still really a whole new world to a lot of people, right? Because I know when people ask me, like, how do you make money at that? Do you get asked that question too?
I get asked that question all the time, a lot. And I think it's often because people misunderstand what live streaming is about. And sure, you can sell products now on Facebook Live. I mean, Instagram has gone for the kill, and you can sell directly from your Instagram account. Now, there are people, and I've seen people be very, very successful with outright selling. Like, I've got this product, and that's the price. And that's what their live stream is about. And that's okay. Yeah. That's perfectly okay if that's your thing. But for a lot of people, there's factors or things like they simply want to build community. They simply want to be able to share the backstory of their company. They want to share the backstory of the people that's involved in the organization so that people get to look at them from behind the scenes. And a lot of times it's more of a subtle sale where there's no outright selling.
Yeah.
But it's being able to deal with product inquiries, product questions, how to do things, how things are built, how things are made, how things work. Those are all things that you can give people direct access to that you didn't have before.
Yeah.
So for me, the huge thing about live streaming is the engagement factor. It's not TV. We're not trying to be mainstream television, because mainstream TV is a one-way thing. It's not interactive. It's not engaging by any means. It's just spewing out information.
Yeah.
Whereas here we talk to each other.
Well, yeah, I was just gonna say you make a good point. I think, especially when we get into the talk show mode, you know, I know when I do my shows, I have to tell myself this isn't television, and the key word is engagement, right? Watching YouTube. If you watch a YouTube video or a pre-recorded show on Amazon Prime or something, they're just showing you the thing, whatever that is on there, right? Whereas here, there's that interaction and that engagement, which is what allows us to build a community. And for me, I know, like, people ask me all the time, well, how do you make money at that? Well, I'm not getting paid here today to do a show with Bridgetti, and I don't get paid when my community show. Like, nobody's paying me to do that. I call it the chicken wing, because when especially my community show, it puts me out there every week. It promotes my brand, if you will. And then people call me and say, hey, we want you to live stream our event, or we want you to MC our event, or we want you to this, that, whatever else I do in there. So it's sort of the promotion. And I don't even really on my community show, I don't say, and by the way, I'm available for, right? People, I just do it every week, and then I get hired to live stream other things and whatnot, right? So, but at the same time, it promotes a community, and it allows me to build that community around
portfolio. And you can also, I mean, you also build up a body of work. So if somebody approaches you and says, hey, I'd like you to do XYZ. Have you done this, that, or the other before? Hi, Jerry. Have you done this, that, or the other before? And you say, well, here's my body of work. This is what I've done. This is the kind of stories that I've covered, or this is the kind of shows I can produce.
Yeah.
This is what I can do in my show.
That's right.
Without you actually having to go there and build up adverts, because every time you stream is an advertisement.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And for me too, the engagement works both ways. And what I mean by that is, it's not just being able to engage, but when I have guests on the show, like, it gives me a chance to get to know them and not just build a relationship with the people who are watching it. So the guests on the show, I'm like, oh, really? Like, I didn't, I'd heard that, or I didn't know that about you, and so as the host, I get to learn from, in that example, my community as well. And it's not just building a group of relationships; it's the one-on-one relationships, and I think people appreciate, the soft sell, if you will, rather than I mean, you can certainly go live, like you said, and you can sell. And today I have a new tripod here for you today, and we're going to sell this, and it's $9.95, folks. Today only. Tomorrow it'll be, but if that's your style. But are we seeing a lot of that? Are we seeing a lot of people do that? I haven't seen much of it yet, where they go, I'm going live today to sell you this.
I've seen, but then the pages are specifically geared towards that. It's a product. It's a purely product page. It's not a service. It's not informational. It's not about building a community. They the page is just about selling products.
Okay.
You know, they're selling dresses, or they're selling, I see a lot, you know, selling clothing, jewelry. There's quite a lot of that, like pearls, for example. That seems to be a huge thing on Facebook, you know, selling pearls.
So, selling
And
what?
then
Oh,
the other,
pearls. Right.
yeah, pearls. Um, Pearls, clothing, and I haven't seen anyone sell live streaming gadgets per se,
Right.
except, you know, Roz, for example, would recommend products, but it's not outright selling.
Right.
Like he doesn't sell things on the show. He'll say, well, here's the links and you can go and buy it. So it's
Okay.
not quite the same thing.
Yeah.
But I do see people doing that. Yeah. I see that happening more and more, but it's okay because, you know, when you go to that page or you go to the show, you go with the intention to see what's available to buy.
Yeah. Oh, it's like turning to the shopping channel. You expect to shop. You expect to have something shown to you, right? That makes sense. Yeah, Jerry's out there. I heard you say hello to him. He's from Austin, Texas. Hello, Jerry. Do you know, is Jerry somebody you know?
I don't
No?
know him.
Okay.
No.
Jerry, thanks for joining us here today. And I'm just curious how you came across the show, because we are simulcasting. How many places? Well, we're in South Africa on Bridgetti.live. And see, we're in Ireland and Australia, and we're just all over, right? Your Bridgetti.live, is that kind of like a hub as well? Is that what that's about?
You know, I haven't really grown it as much. I started off going live on Bridgetti.live, but then I discovered, you know, with various shows, I realized that they needed a home of their own because it was so specific. So if
Okay.
I have a non-specific topic, then I'll go live on Bridgetti.live. But
Okay.
when it's something that needs a community of its own, you know, it's a very specific closed topic, then it goes on a page of its own. But I share everything to my Bridgetti.live page. So
Okay. Yeah.
it is kind of a hub, yes.
Yeah. Perfect. Well, good, because I go live on it.
Perfect.
So, well, I'd like to get your thoughts on pages and groups as far as going live goes, because I can't say I never, but I don't go live in my group. I have a group.
I've been
Pardon me, attached
awing
to my
about
page.
that. I've been thinking about it a little bit. Should I? Shouldn't I? You know, but if I think of my largest community by far is the one that I started live streaming on, which is the water group, right?
Yeah.
Or the water page, for example.
Mhm.
And that is huge. You know, it's got over 2,000 likes. And
Wow.
so all those people get notified the minute I go live. So I don't really spend any investment or time or advertising a show. I go live and the audience is there. Which is wonderful. I mean, it gets great coverage. Now, I've been toying with the idea of switching to the group. And I don't really see the benefit in doing that because I share the show to the group anyway.
Yeah.
You know, so
I don't know if when you share something to your group, if you get us further of we're all about the views and the reach, right? Maybe we spend too much time on that. I don't know, but I don't think you get as further a reach if you share from your page to your group as you would if you just go live from your group. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I to be honest, David, I haven't really spent that much time on even trying to figure it out. You know, I do what my community needs. The community knows I go live from the page and they're there. It gets the support. It gets major coverage. It gets shared without me even asking it to be shared. So it really isn't it hasn't been a big issue for me.
Yeah.
Because it's such a topical thing.
You make a good point in saying that, because I think, you know, we always hear about, I mean, of course, okay, we'd love to have 1,000 concurrent live viewers and all that stuff. And I've had, I think, just over 1,000 when I did a broadcast for our elections here was happening in our municipality. People were interested, right? It all depends on the content as well.
Correct.
And I think, you know, when we talk about, well, will I get more viewers if I go live over here? What if I go live over here? Blah, 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 blah. Right? And we keep trying to figure this algorithm out that we're never going to figure out. And even if you do figure it out, as soon as you figure it out, Facebook changes it and says, nope.
Exactly.
Too many people figured it out, right? So, but the point I was coming back to, and you said, I just do what my community needs. And that's the thing, right? Is and you build the consistency. Like I've been going live on my page practically from day one. That's where my recorded show was before I did live. And that's just where people have gotten used to me being. Now, that being said, I'm looking at starting a new show in addition to, and calling it the Show with David Burrows Late Night. And it'll be at about 11 o'clock at night. And I think I'm going to go live in my group just as an experiment.
To test the waters.
Yeah, you know, and see, because the thing about groups, my understanding is, in a group, it's everybody who's in that group gets notified and will see the live. Whereas the page... Now, sorry, go ahead. You got a response to that?
Here's the other thing I want to know is it a closed group or is it an open group? And is it the same for both?
Right. Well, mine's a like a closed group. I'm pretty sure it's a closed group. Means I have to invite you to the group. It's not a secret group. Like people can stumble across it. And but like I've got 767 people in this group.
That's a pretty decent sized group.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So I thought, well,
I'd if I had 750 people in the group, I'd say it's worth a shot. I'd say it's worth broadcasting only to the group.
Yeah. Well, and here's the other thing. It doesn't have to be an official show to try it out. I've been doing I don't know if you see them. Well, you're probably sleeping when I do it, but I've been doing random lives on my personal timeline. And it's completely random. It could be at any time. And I just go, hey, what's up? I did one yesterday, right? You know, and in about 20 minutes, there was already a couple hundred people watched. But that's the personal timeline. And I could do my show from my personal
and when you do that, sorry to cut in. No. When you do that, do you just go live natively?
I have, and then sometimes I use Be Live. Like yesterday, I used Be Live, and still got.
And have you seen? Now, this is the question that I see a lot of people raise. Have you noticed a difference when you go live randomly, natively, and randomly live with Be Live? Have you noticed a difference in your audience if you were live for a similar time?
No, not really. I mean, I sort of, I'm losing my ear here. I sort of pay attention to it. Like I didn't do it going, okay, I'm doing this to find out why, but I didn't really notice much of a difference. Like it seemed about the same to me. Mm. I think what time of day you go live has a factor. And even my community show, I won't get a ton of people watching live, but I'll always end up with 500 or 600 views by the end of the week because they're watching it after the fact, right? Mm. So no, I can't say that I've seen much of a difference here. Now I know other people will say something different. Like, well, I got to further reach. And here's the thing: if Facebook wants you to use Facebook, simple. They don't, even though they support other things like Be Live and different products because they know they exist. I think at the end of the day, they'd really rather you just use their system.
Correct.
Right. So.
Correct.
But then again, like Be Live has features that going live native on Facebook doesn't. So, I mean, you can't share comments, you can't share your screen, all that sort of thing. So, it doesn't, I don't know. Just do what you want to do at the end of the day and make it work for you. And I know we're all trying, again, we come back to the reach and the views, but I go live. I really like how you put that. Go live where it's best for your community that's watching, and don't even worry about the numbers. I wish I could turn the view thing off, and then I don't worry about it. I try not to look at it because they'll come in, come out. There'll be 1 or 2. There'll be 0. I just talk like there's 1,000 people.
Now that's the key thing. I do find that there are a lot of people who almost become obsessively compulsive about the numbers.
Yeah.
And that's all they do. They are so focused on the numbers. And then, to me, I think I would lose the joy in live streaming. It would totally drive me nuts. I mean, I love that we have this ability to go live, that we have the ability to influence, that we have the ability to inform, to communicate, to build communities. I think it's awesome. It's something that a couple of years ago I would never have dreamed of doing or thinking was possible. What we can do now.
Yeah.
And to me, it's still kind of a privilege to be able to do this.
Well, it certainly is a privilege because it can be taken away from you.
So I personally don't get hung up on the numbers. For me it's more about the message that I'm sharing getting spread. So it's not so much the numbers, it's the people.
Yeah, and if you think about the numbers, there are people out there who have hundreds of thousands of likes on a page, and they might be live right now with thousands of viewers live. We don't know about them. We haven't found them. Right. So it's still, as a business, yes, obviously I want to reach as much as possible. When people want to hire me to, live stream for their event or whatever, their first question out of their mouth is, what's your viewership like? And my answer is, it depends on the content. And if you have great content, and if it's like politics, I could do a politics show every day of the week. I'd get larger numbers, guaranteed, right? I do a community show, and it's not as exciting, I guess. I don't know what it is.
I think you've hit the nail on the head there, David. It is very subjective.
Yeah.
It is very dependent on the topic and, I'd say topic and the guest. If you have a guest that pulls a large audience, and again, it is usually topic related, then, you'll get the audience irrespective. If you have a topic that no one's interested in hearing about, you won't get the audience.
Yeah.
So it's much of a muchness. I can get, as I said to you, with a water community, I have a huge audience without doing much work, because it's something that a lot of people are interested in my community, locally and internationally.
Yeah.
But I may go live doing something else, and no one's, doesn't catch the interest, and I'll have much, much less viewership. But that's okay,
Yeah, no,
I'm not getting hung up on it.
Yeah. I think as a business, if you're, if this is your big time business, then yeah, you've got to look at those numbers. And I do look at the numbers, and I look at other ways to engage and improve those numbers, but I just keep doing what I'm doing, and over time it builds itself. Right. So, and time of day and all that sort of stuff. Like my show's every Monday at 3:30 in the afternoon live. And I've had so many people say, Dave, your show's about the community. I can't watch at 3:30 in the afternoon because I'm at work. And I'm like, that's okay. Watch it when you get home. Watch it at your convenience. I do it live for the simple fact that I have an audience in Australia and South Africa and United Kingdom and all different parts of the world. So I tried to find, and honestly, it was the best time that worked best for me. So that was one of the reasons I went that direction. Alfredo's out there, and he wants to know, when do you accept guests? Well, I typically accept guests when they send me a $20 bill. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, we can take some guests. But before I do, Alfredo, did you have something specific you want to add to the conversation that we're having right now? We're talking about where to go live. Does it make a difference on pages or groups? What works for you might work differently for somebody else. I think that's the other part of the conversation as well, is what works for you might not work for somebody else. Like you said, I have a group with over 700 people in it. I should probably go live there. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll do that tonight. I'll go live in my group tonight instead of my random on my timeline. I'll go live in the group and we'll see what happens. And but if you're not in my group, right, Bridgetti, like, you won't see it. You won't get any notification. You won't see any of that. So I'm curious to see how that works out. It'd be an interesting. I'm experimenting tonight. How about that?
And of course, the other thing with going live is that well-known thing, or maybe it's not that well-known, but you go live to build know, like, and trust.
Yeah.
Because if people don't know that you're out there offering a service or a product or a book or a gadget or whatever it is, if they don't know you even exist, they're never going to approach you. So it's part of your, it should be part of your marketing strategy. And, as opposed to you going to an event and handing out business cards, that people will just file away and put in their wallet and forget about it.
Yeah.
But people don't really get to know you. The way I have phrased it for over a while is that instead of a business card, you're literally taking yourself off the paper, you're taking yourself off the page, you're taking yourself off the website.
Yeah.
And you're saying, here I am, this is who I am, and this is why you would want to do business with me. So you're allowing people to get to know you as a person. And when they see you regularly, they get to know you. And so when they're thinking of your product or service or whatever it is that you have going, you're going to come to mind. But you won't come to mind unless you're there.
Business cards are certainly, I don't want to say they're a thing of the past, but they're getting there. I have business cards. I have a box up here that I've had for over a year, probably a year and a half. And I still have a whole bunch. I could take a stack and throw them at you, and I'd still have some left. But I always carry a few in my wallet. And it's not so that I'm going around I don't go, here's my card, here, can I give you my card? People will always take your card. They'll go, oh yeah, sure. But I have a few in there so that if we're engaging and building a relationship, and if I impact them in enough of a way that they're interested in what I'm doing, they say to me, have you got a card? Or how do I reach out to you? That's when I'll give them a card. Because then I know they're asking for it rather than me just going, hey, Bridgetti, take my card. And oh yeah, sure, I'll take that card and I'll throw it in my recycle bin.
So here's the thing that I'm wondering. I just had a thought while you were talking about business cards. Maybe it's time for the business card to evolve a little bit, not go away completely. But, typically you had on the business card your company name, your address and phone number. And that's kind of it, your mobile number and your company phone number.
Yeah.
So instead, one should possibly, I don't know, have a front and a back, have it printed on both sides one with your company name and details, and behind a picture of you, so that people know, remember your face.
Yeah.
And your social media links. That could be useful.
Oh yeah. I mean, and I have that on my cards. I have, the Video Show Network and the show. Yeah. I just think it's just, there's a way to get rid of your card. Like I say, if they're asking you for the card, that's different than you saying, "Can I give you my card?" So, yeah, I don't know. It's let's come back to that. Alfredo's asked me, "Can you see this text?" Yes, I can see the text. Yep, that's great. And I saw, when do you accept guests? And so I was asking you, Alfredo, if you're still watching, what is it? Do you have something specific you wanted to join and talk about? Did you have some input on what we're talking about, which is, well, we're getting across a lot of topics here today, right, Bridgetti? We've been talking about, do we go live on pages or groups? And business cards, are they a thing of the past? Do you still use them? And how do you use them? I know there's some apps out there. There's an app for that. You can scan scan a business card, and it automatically puts it into your contacts. So you see the business card when you go into your iPhone or whatever. And I'm like, well, I just have you in there. That's the business card thing right there. And I know there are apps where I can just turn your Bluetooth on, press a button, and it'll send you all my contact info. Now I'm automatically in your phone. So the way business cards look, and yet you still have what's the name of that? Vistaprint, right? Vistaprint's still selling business cards. Why do they sell business cards, though? Is it because they want you to have a business card in your hand? Or is it because that's how they get you? We'll give you 500 business cards for free. And while you're here, surf around, look around, buy banners and everything else from us, too.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's basically, the way live streaming works as well. Is that,
right.
It's a subtle sell. It's not an outright sell. And the funny thing is, oftentimes I've been live streaming with people, for a long time, and one day I may send conversations. So, by the way, do you sell anything? Because I've never heard them talk about the product. It's
Right.
only when I ask them, they'll say, well, actually, I can provide this or that, or I sell this, that, or the other. And it's a great way of doing business, actually,
Yeah. It's the backdoor sell. Backdoor sell, right? Alfredo's, he said he wanted to talk about how close he is to affiliate on Twitch. Oh, that's awesome. I know that feeling. Been there. Also, my first day at Amazon as a delivery associate was May 19th. Oh, yesterday. And I'm sore right now. Okay. Cool. Alfredo, I'd be curious to know if you have any thoughts on what we're talking about here with going live on pages or groups, or anything else that we're talking about here today. Glad to hear that you're working, though. That's fantastic. And I'm just I'm multitasking here. Sorry. I'm a man, Bridgetti. I can only do one thing at a time.
So there was something interesting I saw on LinkedIn earlier today, and I thought that's an interesting question. This person was saying, we all buy as a result from know, like, and trust. But there are times, or there are occasions, when we don't have the luxury of doing that, when we simply go out and we buy a product out of need. And I guess that happens, Yes, we all want to build the know, like, and trust and get business as a result from it. But if you have a really good product that speaks for itself, you may not need to work as hard on that aspect. I thought it was just an interesting.
Well, yeah. If the product speaks for itself, right? Is that kind of what you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. What would be an example of that? Um,
Well, like a loaf of bread, for example.
right.
Nobody needs to advertise a loaf of bread and
Are you
explain to me
hungry?
what
Do you want to make a sandwich? Yeah. Yeah, I got you. I got you. All right, Alfredo's out there. He wants to. So we'll put the link out there for Alfredo or anybody for that matter who wants to join us here on the show. And we're just asking you, keep it relevant to what we're talking about here for the most part. And we're looking for your thoughts and input as to, do you go live on Facebook pages or groups? Where do you go live? I know Alfredo's going live on Twitch quite a bit, and that's great. I'm rearranging a schedule, and next week we'll be starting to regularly broadcast on Twitch because I was doing quite well, and I've built and there's an interesting thing, Bridgetti. I don't know how much you're doing on Twitch, but when you build a community here on Facebook, when you go over to Twitch and broadcast, is it the same community? Not for me. I have about 400 people following me on my Twitch account, and out of that 400, I might have about 3 to 5 people that came over from Facebook. It's a whole different world over there. Are you going live on Twitch?
Not really. I've done it on the odd occasion. I haven't really made a concerted effort to go live there, which I will do. But I do think, it is platform specific. You build an audience where you are. So, yeah, I would tend to agree with you on that one. Your audience is where your audience is.
Yeah.
And
what was I going to say? I had my thought there. Twitch isn't for everybody. Well, it's designed for everybody to go there and with all these categories opened up now, and those categories are going to be adding some more. I can tell you that. But the way you go live on Twitch and the way you go live on Facebook are two different things. It's not, never mind even just it's a different audience. The way you handle things, the way you put yourself out there. When I go live on Twitch, and don't get me wrong, I've done it for half an hour or just an hour, but when I go live on Twitch, I'm 3 to 5 hours.
Wow.
Right? That's a very typical, when you have a channel and you go live on Twitch, you're 3 to 5 hours. 3 to 5 hours is the average of a broadcast on Twitch. And some do it for 8, some do it like a job, 8 hours a day. Here I am. This is what we're doing, and we're doing a whole thing today. And right. But those are the full timers that are looking to make a living and make just that their full time income, not a little bit over, not multi. That's it right there.
So what do you do for 8 hours? Like, are they streaming? Are those people that are streaming games, or are they just streaming what they're doing in their office?
There's people who are streaming games, but they might be going, okay, today I'm going to play this game and I'm going to complete it. So they play the whole day on that one game. But then there's people who are painting, and they take breaks and whatever else too, right? So. Like I know a few that I follow, and she's nothing about the positive vibes, right? And she talks about how to grow your stream, and then she talks about mental health, and then later she has people on, and they talk about stream coaching, and there's just it's like a whole day plan. Now, does she go live 5 days a week? And Alfredo, I do see you there. Hang tight. She doesn't go live 5 days a week, but she's a full-time streamer. So what does she do? She goes live 3 days a week for about 8 hours 5 to 8 hours at a time. But the rest of her week is spent doing what? Planning what she's going to do on those 3 days, promoting herself on Twitter and making YouTube videos that she talks about specific topics that are 10 to 15 minutes in length, and she puts them and uploads it. So you might not see her 5 days a week live, but she's working it 7 days a week, guaranteed. Right? So that's what a full-time streamer. That's the same with me. You don't always see me live 7 days a week, but every day I'm doing something to grow my business.
Correct. Now that's something that a lot of people don't appreciate. It's not about that 30 minutes that you are live, or the hour or the 2 hours that you're live. There's a lot of work that takes place behind the scenes, before and after the show. It takes a lot of planning.
This is the fun part.
Yes.
This is the fun part. Oh, we got Alfredo in the lobby that will bring him in. Alfredo, how are you today?
Good morning, David. Thanks for having me on your show. I'm always excited to be here.
Yeah, that's good. You're at home right now, are you?
Yes, sir. I am at home.
Perfect. So
Hi, Alfredo.
Hi, Bridgetti.
You're commenting earlier. You go live on pages most of the time, right?
Yes, I do occasionally go live on the groups I'm part of, a community of, but sometimes you got to be kind of careful if the content you present in that group is like, hey, is that going to help the group? So most of the times, when I do go live in groups, it's either my own group that I manage, and
right.
And then occasionally, if I think that, oh, this live might be helpful for another group, I'll share the live into the group instead of going live directly from the group. So that way,
right.
if the moderators or admin says, hey, that doesn't really match, delete, then the live doesn't get interrupted. So that's what I.
Well, you make a good point there. You can, when you're a member of a group, because you've been invited to or you've joined and been accepted into, you can go live in that group.
You can, yes.
And I'm not sure why Facebook allows that. I would think that you can be in my group, but I don't want you just going live whenever, because it needs to be relevant to what is going on in the group. I would think, right? So you do have to be careful.
Facebook allows for that. Oh, go ahead, Bridgetti. I was gonna comment on that, but what were you gonna say, Bridgetti?
I've seen what a lot of groups do is they have it in their terms and conditions in the group, stating that members do not have permission to go live unless they specifically get a permission to do so from the admins. So I guess that's a way around it, is to actually put it in your T's and C's.
Yeah, that's right. Well, and that's another good point to the group thing is posting period needs to be relevant to the group, right? There's groups out there right now, or people out there right now that are posting things. I saw a post of it in another group that I'm involved with. That are going around and posting things that would be considered inappropriate in the group. And then those same people report that group to Facebook, and then Facebook shuts the group down. So
I have seen that, and there was recently a case like that in South Africa, and it was a group that originated here, and it had over 1.5 million members in there.
Yeah.
And so it shows the need for vigilance, because I think Facebook holds the admins of the group responsible for whatever happens in the group.
Yep, that's right.
So you've got to have your finger on the pulse. I mean, I saw somebody post something in a group the other day, and they used the word terrorist, and I just went, oops, delete. I didn't even wait. It wasn't about a terrorist movement or something per se, But it's trigger words like that could set off a warning to Facebook. And so when I saw the word, I just went and deleted the comment straight away. I thought, why take the risk for something like that? But people don't think sometimes. People just don't think.
They don't? What are you talking about?
I don't know. That's a whole nother conversation.
If I had a nickel,
David.
Well, you did a good job there, Bridgetti, because you kind of fell into my trap here. I was leading towards something, and good job. You'll understand here in a minute. Facebook introduces one strike policy to combat abuse of its live streaming service. So I don't know if you've heard about that.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, and that's a lot to do with similarly what you're referring to, because not only is Facebook watching what we post, they're listening right now. Just saying. But because we're living in this live world now, it's very easy to go live and show something that would be considered inappropriate and it not get deleted right away, because Facebook, as big as it is, has to find it, right? They have to come across it. So sometimes things get out there, and that's why they're cracking down on this one. It's cracking down on its live streaming service after it was used to broadcast the shocking mass shootings that left 50 dead at 2 Christchurch mosques in New Zealand in March, right? If you remember that. So that was sort of the start to all of that. And I know people that get shut down on their Facebook. I know of people that, I lost Facebook again for 30 days, and they brag about it like it's cool. It's like, well, I saw what you posted. I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I also saw a post saying that Facebook is reconsidering who they allow to stream.
Mm-hmm.
And I totally get that. And I think that that's not a bad move at all, because, you're getting people, because it's available, people are streaming all kinds of nonsense, things that are not conducive to building communities, that's not conducive to information, that's not conducive to product building or anything like that. It's just spewing hatred or something similar. And
it's I when I teach at the college, my college students and my high school students, I both said at the very beginning, accountability and responsibility. Before you sit down in front of that camera and press go live, accountability and responsibility are the other two words that you need to have, because and I relate them to Spider-Man. Uncle Ben said, with great power comes great responsibility.
Great responsibility, yeah.
And so if everybody has access to it, not everybody's of the same mindset. Alfredo, what are your thoughts?
I mean,
right.
Well, just an example. There's an age limit to be added on Facebook too now as well because of that. And with that age restriction, you got to know what type of So.
Well, you mean an age restriction just to have a Facebook account?
Yes, just to have a Facebook account. There's
well, that's always been there. It was 13. And I'm like, 13, really? But who's to say when I sign up, I'm telling you that I was born in, like, you can lie about your age.
Right.
That's the thing that's always been problematic for me, is because, I know of instances. I mean, there was one instance where a girl in South Africa got herself into huge trouble. The story, the story went that she was kidnapped, and there was huge concern. I even did a live stream on it. And in the end, it turned out that she actually ran away with someone, and she had this Facebook account that nobody knew of where she was being very promiscuous, And how
Right.
do the kids do that? Kids aren't stupid. They'll use a fake ID,
No.
um,
Again.
or not a fake ID, but they'll use a fake date of birth, because there's really no way that I'm aware of that Facebook's able to verify that information, and that is
Mhm.
why people can open up a gazillion Facebook accounts. It can be against Facebook's T's and C's, but it's not preventing people from opening up more than one Facebook account because
Well,
there's no verification method.
the thing about terms of service, it's not necessarily to protect you. The terms of service is to protect them, typically, right? I mean, they might say that that's to protect you, but their lawyer wrote it. So, and your lawyer didn't read it for you. So, typically the terms of service are to protect them. I mean, music is a good example, copyrighted music. And speaking of which, I don't know if you've seen this. Like, of course, back in the day, if you have music playing in the background, like you got shut down, right?
Correct.
I think they've loosened the reins a little bit. For example, when I do my Sting games or anything like that, when I'm live, there's music playing in the background, but my voice is more dominant than, say, the music is. So the music might sound muffled. And I haven't been shut down for any of that. Now, I will say I got a notification the other day on Facebook. I used to get an email, but I got a Facebook notification that said one of your videos had copyright issues. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I tapped on it, and it didn't go anywhere.
Thanks for. I had to do a little minor configuration. Sorry.
And so I don't know which video it was, but
sorry about that. I thought I had it off when I was finished yesterday. Finished that.
Are you talking to me, Alfredo?
My apologies. I got a phone call. David, let me drop out.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if he was talking to me or what was going on. So I didn't know what video it was they were referring to, but I haven't been shut down. So I kind of wondering if I actually thought of testing it, but then I'm like, well, no, I don't really want to. Like, I'm scared. I'm scared.
I don't think we want to willingly kind of go out there and,
Yeah. So anyway, there's a lot going on in the Facebook world, and I know we talk about, gives us something to talk about, but at the end of the day, they're going to do whatever they're going to do. It's their platform, so they can do whatever they want as far as I'm concerned. And honestly, they still let us do plenty of stuff here. Like go live whenever you feel like it, right? So
exactly. I think that's what a lot of people forget about sometimes when they almost go on this complaining streak, is not realizing that this isn't your platform. It belongs to someone else. You're not paying for the ability to go live. You're not paying for the ability to stream to Facebook.
Yeah.
It's something free that's given to you.
Yeah.
So, you have to play within the confounds of what is offered.
And you clicked the I agree button.
Correct.
Well,
correct.
I didn't read it. Well, yeah.
That's your problem, right?
Right. So I said they wrote it for them, not for you. So what's on for the rest of your you've got some things coming up this week. Any special, like you got some live broadcasts going on, or what are you up to this week?
Actually, I'm launching a new show with Alison who's in the US, on making smart choices with regards to internet safety and keeping safe on the internet.
Mm.
And the whole reason we wanted to start that is that it's something that people talk about, but everybody's waiting for someone else to do something about internet safety. And so we're kind of saying, if you want the change, then be the change.
Well,
You know, don't wait for someone to bring in legislation with regards to being safe on the internet or controlling trolls or whatever. Be the change. If you see somebody being bullied or trolled or whatever, don't be a silent participant. Be the change. So that's kind of the thing we want to promote.
interesting. When's that happening?
Well, we're just going to do a teaser of the show this evening,
Okay.
but we're likely to do it on a Wednesday. So we'll kind of lead into what we, planning to do, but we'll have that conversation in about an hour from now.
Okay. And where will we see that live then?
There is a Facebook page called Safer Social.
Safer Social. All right.
Yeah.
Let's show the world. Safer Social it is. I'm going to try to check that out later tonight if I'm not already. But there'll be a replay, right?
Yeah, there'll be a replay. So we haven't worked out all the nuts and bolts yet, but that's the idea with Safer Social. And I'm looking forward to that because I think there's a need for it. There's so much every single day that one can pick up in terms of topics on being safe online or, online bullying, whatever form that may take. So I'm quite excited about this topic.
Yeah, I'm interested to view that and see what kind of conversations come out of that for you. Yeah, I'll have to follow along with that. You've really got my curiosity antlers just went up.
Initially, we were going to do it just as a podcast, and I said to her, well, why don't we just double up on our coverage? Let's do it as a live, and we still have the podcast.
Right, and are you doing the podcast on the? Is that part of what Steven's doing, the Live Video Hub Radio, or?
Well, we will definitely send in the audio as well. Like the more the merrier, right?
Yeah.
I've now started stripping the audio from all my shows, and I'm working my way backward. Some of the stuff needs editing because I didn't have podcasting in mind at the time.
Right.
Whereas now I'm a little bit more conscious when I'm live that I want to repurpose the content. So I'm a little bit more careful in the way I phrase things.
Gotcha.
So that it makes sense to somebody listening to the podcast.
Yes, I hear you. I'm doing the same thing with my show. I try to as much as I can. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. That's cool. Well, the hour has flown by, and I'm so glad that I appreciate you taking the time to be here today, Bridgetti, because once I knew that you were going to be joining me, I was telling my wife, I'm so excited. I said, I hardly ever get to do a show with her, so she's going to be helping me out today, and I just know we'll have some great conversations. So thanks for that.
It's a pleasure. It was great. Thank you for the invitation.
You're welcome. And you're welcome anytime. Well, I can boot Steven off anytime, and you can come on. It's okay. I should say I love Steven. He's a fantastic man, and he'll be back here next week. And thanks to all of you so much for watching here today. I'm here normally with my friend Stephen Healy, but he's had to take some time off, and Bridgetti from South Africa joining me here today, and Alfredo, thank you so much for coming on and joining us as well. I'll be live later this afternoon, 3:30 this afternoon. 3 great guests, including one, Richard Belan, who is a world-known photographer taking pictures of some very famous musicians, and he teaches right here at our Lambton College, and he's going to be my guest here today, so very excited for that. Thanks again. Thanks, Bridgetti, and we'll look for your show later tonight.
Thank
Bye
you.
for now,
Bye,
everybody.
everyone.